Hello, ladies. So, welcome to We Do Women Empowerment Define the Odds. This is Irvine. Today, I have a special guest with me, Ria Venstra. I met Ria years ago, and I just want you guys to notice something. Though most of the guests that I'm interviewing, people that I actually know, professionals that I know, women that's done stuff and progressing themselves, no matter the odds. So, Ria is one of those women, and Ria is the sweetest girl you ever met. And Ria, just tell us a little about yourself, and then I'll kind of get into how we met.
Okay, so yes, I've known her for some time now. I'm a mom, I'm a professional. I've been married for quite some time, juggling life, I guess, work life. I've worked hard my whole life, both personally and professionally. I come from a family where my parents are divorced, so I've been working since I was 15 years old. So
Wow.
the work ethic is in me, is really in me.
Oh, wow. Okay, guys, and this is not just because of knowing Ria, I can tell you, I think when I met Ria, we didn't work in the same department, but we worked on the same floor. And I saw the last name, and I didn't know she was of Caribbean descent because her last name sounds Greek or something. So they said this girl was coming who left the company and came back. And that's a story in itself because Ria started, I think, with a company that I worked at as an assistant and left, and I'll let her give a story about that, and then came back doing something very different than an assistant, which I think is really commendable. And that is a story in itself. Ria is from Trinidad, so I'm going to shout out Trinidad there, and
Right.
yeah. So another Caribbean island, and thank you. So Ria, just tell us a little bit about your professional life. Starting your journey at where we met.
Okay, so we went to University of Toronto and I got a degree from there in sociology and labor relations. I actually wanted to be a labor lawyer.
Oh, wow.
Uh, After I graduated from university, I got a job in a law firm. Didn't like it. Thought it was not for me. So I decided to get a job and figure out what I wanted to do. So I got a job working in insurance, and it was for a catastrophic department, but as an assistant.
Mhm.
That was in 2006.
Mhm.
So I got the job there. I started to work there. While I was there, I decided I wanted to do my master's degree in teaching
Wow.
and my of education degree in teaching. So I did. I went back to school. And the only way I could go do this is to do it in the US
Wow.
because they were accommodating me to do this every weekend while I worked full time in
Wow.
insurance. So I had just gotten married, taking on having a full time job, completing a bachelor and master's degree at the same time. And I had to complete it in 17 months.
Wow.
So it was quite intense. And I completed that in well, 17 months later, I finished the degree.
Hmm.
And I continued to work at the company that I worked for. And then I got a promotion to another insurance company as an entry level, a step up from what I was doing.
Hmm.
So I moved over. While doing that, I was looking for teaching jobs.
Hmm.
At that time, there were no teaching jobs available. And I had just bought a house, and I mean, I couldn't work on, supply work. So I continued to work in insurance.
Hmm.
Right? I continued to work, build my career in insurance. And I worked at that company for a few years. And I moved back to the company where I met Irva 5.5 years later. So I'm building my insurance skills, of course, over the years, going from, an assistant, moving my way up to intermediate, senior, and I worked at the company for 5.5 years, 5 years.
Hmm.
And then I moved over to a new company almost 2 years ago where I handle catastrophic claims. So
Okay.
I've moved from,
So I'll
yeah,
pause you there because
sure,
that's a lot. So we'll back up first. So
sure.
your degree is not related to teaching. You want to get into law. You got into an insurance company at an entry level position. So there are people in your departments that probably didn't have degrees because they're clerical and those sort of stuff, but you're still doing it. Didn't forget your dreams. You wanted to be a teacher. you got married. For those who don't know, and our Caribbean viewers, this woman's live in Canada and crossing the border every weekend, the US border, to go complete her teaching degree in 17 months with her
Yes.
husband, a mortgage, and a full-time job. So ladies, I'm going to put it out there, and to my male viewers too. Nothing is impossible. It's going to take a lot of effort sometime and some sacrifices. So tell us, Ria, how did your husband, because you're a newly married person and you're gone a lot of weekends, how was that on your marriage? How was that on you emotionally and mentally, and the driving? How did you cope, and the studying and the working?
I would actually leave Friday right after work. I had everything packed, my suitcase packed for the weekend, my assignments done. Friday
Wow.
after work, got on the highway, drove down the 403 to Hamilton, QEW, and I did that every weekend. My husband was pretty supportive, because, you know, he knew it was going to be 17 months. My weekends were all, you know, my weekdays were all spent when I got home from work doing projects, doing papers.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So it was quite intense, physically and mentally draining, I have to say. I think it's one of the toughest things I ever did in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Tougher than having kids. It was really, really hard, but honestly, you need to have good support and you need to be really focused, because my goal was to finish my degree, right? So, and because it was 2 degrees in one, it was really, really intense.
Wow. I could imagine. And I mean, being a young bride, most women want to be home, you know, chilling with the husband every weekend, right? It's a joy of being married with no kids yet, but you spending your time pursuing your dream, and not just pursuing your dream, still maintaining your financial status with your because you have things to do, your mortgage, and you were maintaining that still,
Mm-hmm.
pursuing your dream. And I know that's a lot of work, and to drive for 2 or 3 hours to get to the US. So, and still come back to work Monday morning, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a lot of work in itself. So I'm amazed that you did that. I know it'll be challenging for a lot of people to do something like that.
And before I started doing that, I was actually running a tutoring center
Wow.
time as well. So I was teaching kids, elementary kids, because I'm elementary Ontario teacher certified. So I was working with elementary kids. So I was running a tutoring center probably 6 to 8 hours a week, plus working, and plus, you know, because I needed the experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
To apply to teachers college. So I needed the work experience. So I had to, you know, start doing that. So I did that for years.
Wow.
So
That's, yes, your courage and your strength, my dear. You're a very petite person, but you're quite strong. And we're going to talk about your body shortly, because that's another journey. So then fast forward, I ran into you at the company that we worked for. Now you came back and there was lots of buzz, and you know, this girl, when she left, she was an assistant. Now you came back as an adjuster, as an adjudicator, right? What was
yes.
the transition for you? How did you feel? Yet still you're a teacher though. You've done a teaching degree, but you came back as an adjuster.
You know what? For me, you have to enjoy what you do. Yes, I enjoy teaching, but a part of my job was adjudicating, but a part of my job was also coaching like junior staff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I was using some of my experience there to, you know, to coach. So I was teaching, but I was also helping people in the intermediate position. So, I mean, I enjoy my role as what I was doing, but I was also using the skills I had gotten from Teachers College. Not ideally how I wanted it to play out, of course, but you know, I was using it differently.
Wow, that is good. So at least you're still using your teaching skills, not how you
Yeah,
wanted to, but you're still able. It's transferable skills, and so you're
exactly.
enjoying and you're learning something new, and you're helping people and you're teaching people. So you
Exactly.
spent a few years there, and that's to me to show your drive and your passion, that you're not the person that would settle for something forever. So now you've moved on up. So tell us about that.
So, I mean, you know, over the years, you know, you develop your career, you start building, you know, you start to grow, and then you're like, okay, is this it? I need to do something more. And I really wanted to handle the catastrophic claims, like the more serious injury claims, right? So that's where I was headed. And something came available at a different company. And I went in for an interview, and, I interviewed on the Wednesday. They offered me the job on Friday.
Wow. That is,
in, in 2
that,
days.
that is a, listen, I'm going to pause you because for my viewers who do not know, handling catastrophic claims is not, and you didn't have catastrophic experience at that point because you're not a catastrophic adjuster, you're a senior adjuster. Handling catastrophic claims, it's at the top, the highest tier, and it comes with a lot of years of experience. So for you to have the interview on Wednesday, get the job on Friday, it's a testament of your devotion and your commitment and the passion that you put in things, that this company is willing to take you without your CAT experience, or maybe just handling a few CAT claims, catastrophic claims here and there, and offer you a position as a catastrophic adjuster. So before we continue your journey in your career, I wanted to talk about, because I know your health and your weight loss, your weight journey is important to you. So tell us, I know you tell us about that actually.
Okay, so growing up as a kid, I was always on the heavier side. And actually, I look back at pictures when I was like in my 20s. Very plump little kid, very plump young woman, I should say. And as I was getting older, I looked at myself and I'm like, I don't like what I see. I don't like. I want to change that. So I decided to join the gym, and I started the gym a few years ago. And I went religiously I've been going religiously up until COVID. I've lost 20 plus pounds, lots of inches. I had a personal trainer, which I worked with for 6 months religiously. And the one thing about when I set my mind to something, when I have a goal, my goal was to, it not just to be slim and trim, but also for health reasons. As you're getting older, your body's changing. And I just wanted my kids are younger, they need me. I need to have the energy to deal with them. So I just thought, this is something I really want to do. And yeah, I did. And I'm still on that journey of, being physically fit. Health is really important to me. It's one of the most important things to me, so my top 3.
Yes.
Yes.
So you look great, just so you know, you look more than great. I can see those 27, I can't see you carrying 20 something pounds and, a lot of inches. And you look very young, so you still look like you're in your 20s. But I know you're not, but you do look that way. So, but
40.
Even part of your weight journey, you didn't just stop there. You did the stair climb at the CN Tower. Tell us how many stairs you climbed, and if you remember your time in, and what was that like? Because there's hundreds of people doing this.
I did the CN Tower stair climb twice. So
Wow.
I did the Tower stair climb. The first time I did it, which is probably about 5 years ago, going back, or probably 4 years ago, it took me about 30 minutes to complete 1,776 stairs.
Wow.
And the second time I did it, it took me, I think, 15 minutes.
Wow. 14
minutes in and around that time. So I guess by going to the gym, developing a different, routine, my body type is different, I was able to do the CN Tower stair climb again. And I actually love doing it.
Wow. So you shaved off 15 minutes to climb 1,700 stairs. And guys, that's a lot of stairs. The CN Tower is the tallest building in Toronto.
Yeah.
Ontario, probably. Yeah, the tallest.
They don't give you any water, no water allowed.
Wow.
They give you water to get to the top. So when you complete the climb, you get a bottle of water.
My goodness. And hundreds of people, 15 minutes, guys. This girl really, when she says she's up to the challenge, she would go the distance. You can see it in her career, in her physical fitness. And I like the fact that you said, though, that it was just for your kids. Do you want to have energy to keep up with them? And we're going to fast forward a little, because little did you know, you're going to be a catastrophic adjuster, and that's, COVID's going to hit. So you need those energies. So tell us about parenting and homeschooling and doing your job just about when you started, and then we have this pandemic.
So my role is a healthcare specialist. I'm a specialist. So, my job is supposed to be 37 and a half hours a week. I work probably about 55 hours a week on average,
Oh my goodness.
give or take. My kids are 10 and 7. They're home with me during the day. So needless to say, I'm homeschooling them. I'm looking at their work. I'm helping them with stuff. I mean, I'm making breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mhm.
I'm throwing laundry in, during the day. And it's really hard. It's a
Mhm.
big challenge juggling, a career, work from home with your kids, homeschooling your children. It
Yes.
is tough.
Mhm.
For me, how I cope with it, is through my religion.
Mhm.
So religion is really important to me. It keeps me grounded. It keeps
Mhm.
me calm. Mind you, there are days that, like, we're all human beings.
Mhm.
There are
Of
days
course.
stressed. There are days we're overwhelmed. But I do a lot of meditating. I do a lot of Bible reading. I do a lot of listening to speakers, religious speakers, motivational speakers.
Mhm.
And those things help me to get through the challenges I face with balancing work from home and doing homeschooling with my children.
You know, Maria, but just from listening to your story, you always been this mentally tough person. And I know when we spoke and I told you I was doing the YouTube channel, mental health was one of the things you're like, you got to do a piece on mental health. I have this plan of something I want to do. So I'm glad to hear that you have ways that you cope with mental health and sharing that with other people, because it's challenging for all parents. Yes, I changed jobs, I changed careers, and trying to learn something new, homeschooling some kids. With a 5-year-old that would knock on my door when he needs to go to the bathroom, when he wants to pencil, and I have to say, talk to the teacher when mom, but what we all know as parents, when you're home with them, it's kind of mommy still. They forget they're in class and it's always mommy, mommy, mommy. So thanks for sharing that you have ways that you cope with this. And you mentioned religion. Tell us about that. Is there anything you want to share about your religious beliefs?
So I grew up in a home where my parents they were both of different religions. My mom's Hindu background, my dad's Presbyterian background, Christianity. We grew up as kids. We grew up as Christians. We went to Sunday school as kids.
Mm-hmm.
Remember 5 year old Sunday school, vocational Bible school. We did that as kids. So I grew up as a Christian person. Even when I moved to Canada, we went to church. Church was our outlet. I actually got baptized when I was 16. I never had a baptism in my life. As a baby, I was never baptized.
Mm-hmm.
So at 16, I did the baptism, confirmation. But I think it was January 2020. I accepted the Lord.
Wow.
So when I did that, I felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I mean,
Wow.
felt different. I felt at peace. I mean, we all go through different struggles in life. We all find what works for us. But for me, like, I find the meditating and finding God in my life was so
Mm-hmm.
important, and it's
Wow.
helped me with many different challenges I face, as a mom, as a professional, you know, as a daughter for somebody, as a sister,
Mm-hmm.
as a wife. I have so many different roles. I wear so many different hats. And some days it's like, okay, which day? Like, which day are we at? Are we on? Are we on Sunday? Are we on? Some days I gotta ask myself, what day is it? Wednesday or Thursday? You know what
Hey,
I
I
mean?
know the feeling. I know the feeling too. I'm glad that you found, your faith and your beliefs, and those are avenues that help you get through the day, relieve stress, and it's uplifting. It's something uplifting for you, guys. I want
Yeah.
to tell you, Ria, you're honestly one of the sweetest, and you'd always come over. We weren't in the same department at all. I was a senior, like doing senior liability, and you were doing accident benefits. But you always came over and just chat, and even I think the first time I met you, you were this sweet, friendly girl. Like we talked like we knew each other. I'm like, oh my God, you're from Trinidad. And we talked and you came to chat with the guys because we have a bunch of guys at our work that makes the day go by really fast. Um, and you weren't in our department, but you were part of our circle. Like we'll do lunches together. I'll meet you guys in the kitchen. If we went to one of the guys' restaurant, because one of our coworkers at a restaurant, You come, you always part of the group and always a smile. And so when you did that stair climb, we supported you and you showed us the pictures, and we felt embarrassed because we didn't do it and we couldn't do it. So and you took a trip to Grenada, which you really liked. I was surprised that you wanted to go to Grenada and you enjoyed that a lot. I don't know if you want to share a little bit.
So I like, I'm from Trinidad originally. I love the Caribbean islands. I've been to Jamaica, I've been to St. Lucia, I've been to Antigua. And we were thinking, what's an island we can go to? That we thought about Grenada. And honestly, I loved it in Grenada. The food's great. Grand Anse Beach is beautiful. It's peaceful. It's quiet. The people are friendly. I mean, all the islands are different, but they're all special. And they all have something different. They have their special foods, they want to share, their special drinks, their special, whatever. And I love the culture. I like the Caribbean culture, right?
That's good though. So much so that she told me she was going to retire in Grenada. I'm just putting you on the spot. I'm going to remind you, we're going to retire together, and I'm going to come visit your whatever you're doing in Grenada when we retire. So, but Ria, thank you. Your story just shows, ladies, that you can really have it all. And when I say have it all, I don't mean the nitty gritty of having it all. You may not be able to, afford the diamond rings and jewelry and cars and at this moment, but you can still pursue your dreams. You can still change careers. You can be married, and and when you're married, yes, when you're in a partnership, you have to have that supportive partner to help you along the way too. In Ria's case, going across the border too. But for you, what I like about your story, even if there are obstacles, because from the time I hear, holy, I got to go across the border every Sunday, that's already a challenge in itself for people who really don't understand. You leaving work, working 8 hours a day, and you're going to pack, doing your assignments and all this stuff during the week, running the tutoring center. And on Friday evening, you're going to leave your spouse and say, I'm going to cross the border. The culture is very different. It's not Canada, it's not us, right? And do this and drive back Sunday.
Yeah. I'd get back home Sunday afternoon. My mom would make dinner. We'd go eat there. And then, Monday back to work. Then I got to plan out my week because I got assignments that I got to get done because I got stuff to hand in the next week. Sometimes I got to create like stand up like live centers, reading centers, literacy centers, take pictures, and I have to have those things ready for the next week. So, and when I did my thesis, which is like, a book, that also took me a very long time and a lot of work. That was the last part of completing my degree. So, for people who, want to achieve something or accomplish something, I would say it's very doable. The only thing is you just have to have the mindset. If you are determined to do something, and that's me, if I want something, if I'm determined to have something, I will work towards that. I don't care how long it takes. It could take me a year, it could take me 2 years, but at the end of the day, you know what your goal is. You set your goal and you work towards it. There's no time limit, so
wow. I like that, guys. I like it. And it shows in your life. And now that we heard your story, I can understand why you can drop 20 something pounds, why you would shave off 15 minutes of doing the CN Tower, because you're that kind of person. It's who you are. So my viewers, just be determined, as Ria said. It might take you a little longer, but it's doable. And you have to plan, right? You can balance both, but it's a balancing act. You got to plan it, you got to sacrifice some stuff, but it is doable. And Ria, thank you for sharing that with us, and for all the moms out there who's going through challenging times. As Ria said, you meditate, she listens to motivational speakers. It's challenging for us all. It's different. Nobody was expecting this, but through it all, she's finding time for herself. She's looking young still. She still looks like she dropped 27 pounds. So she didn't get back an inch.
You know what, Irva? COVID is really hard on people, but I'll tell you something, and I'll tell women out there or people listening out there, don't neglect you. You got to take care of you first before you can take care of your kids.
Yes.
If you have a pet, your house, your job, whatever you have to do, you got to take care of yourself. I'm still taking care of me. I love working out, but hey, unfortunately the gyms are closed. I try to go for runs, walks, whatever, get out with the kids, they're bike riding, they're whatever, I'm out with them, right? So try to get in some activity. Don't neglect yourself. I haven't neglected myself.
It doesn't show.
I continue to work hard at it, and people can't, you shouldn't neglect yourself during COVID. That's one thing I want to say.
Okay, and thanks for saying that. And quickly, we're gonna wrap up shortly, but I don't know if that's I know you had some challenges this year. I don't know if that's something you're ready to share yet, with your pet. Um, but
Yes, I can talk about that. I'm able to talk about it now. If you had talked to me 4 months ago, I'd probably be in tears, but I actually had to put my dog down. I had a husky. He was 15 and a half years old. He was really old. He had some health issues at the end. And as much as I wanted to keep him because I was being selfish, um, I had to let him go. Sometimes when you really love something, you have to let it go.
wow,
So
yeah.
go. And you know what? Also, having a pet is a huge responsibility. So he was part of my responsibilities too, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, when he was ill, walking him, feeding him, cooking for him, like I treated him like one of my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard and it leaves a gap because it's only been a few months, but I know he's in a better place. I'll always love him, no
Mm-hmm.
matter how much time goes. I still think about him every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to lose a pet, especially COVID is tough too, and
Yes.
you're dealing with so many things. And then having to put the dog down during COVID was tough for me too, because he was my avenue. Like him and I would go for walks, or runs or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But him not being here is like, it's left a little hole in me, but
Yeah.
he's in a better place. I have to say he's in a better place.
Well,
So
thanks for sharing and the thought that sometimes when you love something, you have to let it go. And it was time to let go. And I know that was tough for you. Because I know even a few years ago, you'd be messaging me like 11 o'clock. I'm going to walk the dog. The dog and I are taking a walk. I'm like, girl, it's 11 o'clock. Where are you going out to this darkness? But
yeah.
it shows that your commitment to this, oh, man, I just finished work. By the time I put the kids to bed and stuff, it's 10 o'clock. Forget it. I'll walk it tomorrow. You were religious with doing that. Plus all the other things that you were doing.
Yeah,
It was your
exactly.
avenue, and it was, part of your avenue. But I'm happy to see that you're doing okay, because I know that was, a little stressful time for you. So I'm glad that you're bouncing back. And I guess all those meditation skills and motivational speaking that you're listening is working.
That was hard for me. And yes, again, the religious factor coming into my life really helped me through that as well. I did talk to a minister about it when I lost a dog, and she had lost her dog too. And we shared our experiences, and knowing that everything in life is not forever. We all know that.
Yes, yes,
So it's like he lived a long life, 15 and a half. It's equivalent to 105 human
yes,
years.
yes.
So he lived a long life. He lived a good life. He lived a great life with us. We would take him to the cottage. We would take him, wherever we went, Montreal, he would go with us. So, he had a good life till the end. But unfortunately, his life, he couldn't stand anymore. He couldn't stand up to eat or
Mm-hmm.
or drink. So what kind of life is that really,
Mm-hmm.
No life for him at the end. So yeah.
Well, thanks. And I know it's hard losing, a pet that you loved, and it's been a part of your life probably even before the children. So
Yes.
letting him go, was tough, but I guess you can't be selfish. Sometimes you have to do the right thing, the
Yeah.
honorable thing, no matter how
Mhm.
much it hurts you. So guys, I want to say thank you to Ria. Thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for sharing your journey. From the start, you were one of those, Ria, and you're like, yeah, one day I'll say my story. So I'm really glad, we just, Maria, is it this weekend? So I'm really glad. I'm glad that we met. You're one of those friends that I really cherish too, and I appreciate your friendship really.
Thanks, Irva. I appreciate that too.
You made those days at work. You have no idea. You always had this calming voice. And when I was going through some issues, girl, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the person. Girl, just do your stuff. Just do you. So thank you. And I know you that person. And thanks for sharing. Your story and your journey. And ladies, viewers, it's doable. As Ria said, you got to stay focused. You got to give up some stuff. Sometimes you got to let go things you love. Um, um, the journey continues though. And Ria, thank you and good luck in, homeschooling and parenting and catastrophic falls. And, that's another story in itself, handling catastrophic falls. But good luck with that. And thanks for sharing your story with the channel.
Thank you, Over, for having me on, giving me the opportunity to share my journey with, a lot of other women out there, in my position and other positions too. And, it's very uplifting, and it's good to hear other women's stories and, help you. It's therapeutic. So I love
It
it.
is. It is. And I love it too. And I know you put a few comments here and there on the thing. And I know when I'm sharing, when I'm listening to people's story, I mean, I'm learning, even if I've known you and some of the guests, I know some of the guests over the years, but I learned things about them that I never knew. And also it's empowering to me too when I'm learning your story. I'm like, wow, this is, this girl, wow, this girl did that under, this kind of stress. So it's
Yeah.
doable. So thanks for empowering me and all the women out there and empowering yourself. So thank you very much, guys. Remember to subscribe. Remember to like. Remember to share with a friend. Remember to put a comment. Remember, if you want to be a guest, reach out. We do WEDO7806 @gmail.com. And as I said, subscribe, like, put a comment. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Ria.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Care.
Bye.
Bye.